Hello, I'm with Marco Attilio, who heads up fund servicing for Swift globally. Marco, welcome.
Welcome, thanks.
Marco, one of the aspects of the ITAS conference we see year in, year out is the continual refrain about the need and the desire to improve straight-through processing rates and efficiencies and such like. Swift's clearly been at the centre of that for many years in this case. How do you see things developing from here?
Well, things have been developing for the last few years quite strongly. We see a gradual progress. Of course, it's never enough for those who are eager to promote automation and standardization in the market. However, we see a big uptake on the standardization side, especially in Luxembourg. There are big embraces on the EFAMA recommendations on the use of ISO standards for the dealing side.
Marco, you've obviously been at the centre of many of the developments around this, certainly being involved in the defining of all the fund servicing messages within the so-called ISO 2002 standards and everything else. One of the issues that we possibly have, and it's been highlighted in some of the conversations today, straight-through processing is more than just about dealing. Though all the quotes and all the reference numbers and all the statistics we look at are all just about dealing. Do you see that playing out? Do you see that by and large the wider servicing aspects of clients and their holdings becomes part of that overall mix of straight-through processing?
Definitely. I think this is a very strong topic in the industry at the moment. We've just teed off and hit the road with the orders, the dealing part, as you mentioned. However, there is more to it, and we know that there are several market associations like the EFAMA working on the new best practice recommendations, especially on areas like the transfer, corporate actions, to add on top of everything that has already been mentioned, the order processing, but also reconciliation, commissions, fund processing passport. So there is a lot to do in the industry. At the moment, we're still in the phase where there's a lot of automation discussions on the dealing side, but we're seeing more and more discussions, whether it's at Findel Group, Alfie, about the take-up of more messaging rather than just the dealing.
Okay, so one of the slight hold-ups we've seen within the industry is that while lots and lots of custodian banks, such like obviously have Swift nodes and Swift connections and everything else, the transfer agency community has been much, much slower to actually develop those links. Now, there are certain service providers out there who are obviously providing intermediate services and such like. Is it Swift's intention to try and reach out and develop more direct links with the transfer agency community, do you feel?
Well, this is a key question. At the moment, we feel that the progress on automation and standardization is advancing slower than what we actually predicted, even though it's advancing. We have developed a platform for smaller users called Alliance Lite. However, it's not lived so far up to its promise, and we're looking for more involvement from the funds community, the TA community, to promote more actively this alternative channel via Swift. But nevertheless, there are in the market a number of institutions, call them hubs, call them facilitators, call them local TAs, who are actually, their job is to make life easier for the end distributor and finally the end investor as well, allowing a true STP to take place between the distributor, the local TA or the hub or facilitator and the counterparties, whether they are UCITS in Luxembourg, Ireland or anywhere else in Europe.
And does that include a bigger drive into Asia and trying to stem this wave after wave of faxes that we're all labouring under at the present moment?
Well, we've received the latest data on the regional split of volumes in Asia. We know that 30% of the volumes in Luxembourg is a bit down compared to previous year, but it's still very manual. Majority of volumes are coming in manually. What needs to be said is that the situation in Asia is quite difficult to approach because of the labor cost in certain markets, so only the big distributors actually tend to automate and standardize. But what we are also seeing is a lot of leverage from these facilitators that I was mentioning before, the hubs, the local TAs. We know that there are certain players in there that are capturing these orders from the smaller distributors and sending them onwards using Swift. So we don't care at the end how it happens, as long as ultimately it will come as an ISO standard to the community.
Marco, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.